All right. Well, hello. My name is Kevin. Welcome to I think this is the 9th session of 2022. This is the first of the 2 notary governance calls taking place on May 3rd. Thank you for I think 27, 28 people we have in live attendance. And if you're watching this on YouTube as we go forward. Today, we have a little bit of a different agenda. So just kind of calling this out at a high level. We are going to still carry forward with the introductions and participation. We'll be sharing that link, but we're deleting the metrics in the interest of time. One, there hasn't been much changes to it as we start working on updating those. And then 2, we have a lot of community presenters that have asked for time. So to make sure that we're respectful and giving everybody a voice, we've decided to cut those metrics out. So if you have any specific questions on that, the same links still hold, and feel free to look at it as you go forward. We are your friendly governance team, Kevin, Galen, and Deep. Any questions you may have, feel free to ping us directly in Slack or hit us up in the Fil Plus, or if you're a notary, in the notary channel. If this is your first time on a call, please say hi in chat. We'll keep a record of that. And if you need anything in the future, I'll know like how to reach out to you appropriately and kind of give you anything you may need as you start joining on this Fil Plus program with us as you go. This person in the room. Now, this is the same link that we're sharing out each week. I have a little bit of a modification to keep track. I'm going to put this in chat, or Galen or Deep, if you could do that, I'd also be very grateful. When you follow that link, it'll take you to this Airtable, and you'll just fill out the date for May 3rd, and then we could just kind of track that for the SLA on participation as we go forward. Right now, we're not being very big sticklers on like, hey, we need X number of hours because we're still in the onboarding process, and we'll talk a lot about that as we go forward. But right now we're starting to get that muscle memory is like, hey, we're signing in, we're keeping this track. If you're on YouTube, we're working on some ways to kind of give you a way to say, hey, I'm watching this on YouTube, I'm getting the information. That'll
recording in progress.
Can you help me muting them, please? Thanks. Appreciate that. So here's first on the list, the notary updates, because we've had a lot of progress since the election. So kind of keeping you updated on that, as well as some hygiene best practices. So we'll start with the hygiene. First off, this is a carry forward from the last slide. If this is your first time coming or you weren't on the call last week, if you'd like agenda time to discuss your LDN application, to introduce yourself as a new notary, to present an enterprise proposal, whatever the use case is, happily allocate time. The time will be allocated in 5-minute sessions. If you think you need more than that, please spell out what your intended topic is, what time you need, why you think you need more time, and we'll put that on the agenda. The way to do that is in the GitHub repository under this notary governance. Every week I'll make a new session and you can just comment, Kevin, I would like time to discuss my LDN application, or Kevin, I would like time for XYZ. The more information you can provide, the more helpful it will be. If I had to chase down you for like what you want to talk about or what your slides are, you'll probably be the first one that's bumped for time to make use for anybody who's actually done those steps. So the people that are on the call today, they've all done this. They've commented in this repository, said that they want to talk about. And for those presenters, we'll be holding the time for 5 minutes. So I'll give you a 1-minute warning when you come up on your time. That way you can just kind of save yours, and we'll be respectful of everyone who's on the call. We'll always save those for last. That way, if there's any kind of key discussions, we've kind of allocated the floor. But just to kind of reiterate, if you have a key discussion item, there might not be ample time in the schedule going forward for a long conversation. So just making sure if you have something you'd like to discuss, please flag it in chat as we start up, or if you want dedicated time, putting this is really the best way to do it. Second, for all of you new notaries, thank you for your patience. It has been a struggle to get everything into one place. So what I've been doing over the last weeks has been taking your GitHub application, your confirmations that you've sent in, your email, your Slack, your wallet ID, and essentially building up a repository of all this data of how to communicate with you, how to make sure that you are the one communicating for that application, that if you've changed your wallet, we have the correct wallet on file. That's been a challenge. So we're coming to the end of that process. And here's what's next. It's getting you set up so you can start doing notary things. So you might see a new calendar that's popped up for May 10th. This session is going to cover 3 main points. The first is communications, how to communicate effectively with applicants as they ask for data allocation, as well as other notaries, as well as Filecoin Foundation and PL. The second, we'll talk about ownership. How do you find data allocation requests for your region? How do you know what steps you should take once you found them? And then let everyone know. Remember, the goal of the notary process is that it's open and transparent in the public. So we're really going to stress like not having off-chain communication for these things, keeping everything open and transparent, and how you would do that in best practices. And third will be how to actually do it. What are the tools that you're going to use? What are the sites? How do you plug in your ledger? How do you get that all set up and walk through it? So with these sessions, there'll be two. They're taking place next week on Tuesday, and this is the off-week notary cycle call. So if you would like to attend live, which we strongly recommend, this is a good time to kind of walk through it. We could share screens and we can kind of go through. 2 points I'll make on this. The first is this is only for current notaries. So when we start the call, I'll be asking what organization you represent, and I'll be verifying that against the information. If I don't have your information on file when you join the call, I'll politely ask you to leave, go fill that out in your GitHub application and come back to the next. So if you haven't done so, or you're still missing anything on that application, please fill it out before Tuesday. Otherwise, I'll be blocking you from that onboarding session. You'll have to come to a makeup. The second is if you have any technical blockers during that call, I'm going to set up what I call office hours. So if you can't get your ledger to connect, if you have a problem with your repositories, whatever it may be, and you're looking for just that one-on-one backup, I'll be making that available. And I sent a ping today to the notary channels letting you know. So all of this information is in the private notary channel with all the calls and that. Looking forward to it. And if you have any questions, please put it in chat, or we could voice it as we go forward on that. And since we have a couple of moments left, I might pause if any of the notaries or anybody on the call has any questions about the onboarding process or what to expect next week. All right, I'll take that as a thumb up. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Galen for LDNV3.
Awesome, thank you. Actually, looks like there was a question in the chat. Patrick asked, can I invite colleagues to participate in the onboarding?
100%, Patrick. What we're looking for is anybody within your organization, just fine. And same thing for Slack. If you'd like to invite other people from your organization to the Slack, that's okay. All we ask is that you just send like a DM or comment when they add someone to Slack, like, hey, I just added Galen. Galen and I are teammates at the foundation. He's with me. That's all we're looking for. Great question.
Yep. Yeah, ideally, as long as we have some place publicly we can like point back to say this is when that person's request is being added. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this LDN v3. It was talked about in the last governance call. We're looking at making this transition. You can check out issue 509. Basically, we currently have a process where we create a new notary multi-sig for every approved large data set application. We give that entity the existing signers, and we give it, the 5 or lower petabytes that the client is requesting. And then ideally we have kind of a one-to-one relationship of that notary entity to the one client address. We're, especially as we wrap up this election cycle, running into, just a massive amount of technological debt to roll these. There's also issues when notaries change their, address for one reason or another. And it just becomes harder to sort of stay on top of and track all these different existing multi-sig entities as they continue to scale. So what we're proposing is basically switching down to a single multi-sig notary that has all of the existing notaries on it, as well as governance team members, just for being able to manage that, being able to add new notaries or remove a notary address that for one reason or another. We talked about this, and I think on the GitHub issue, there aren't any strong dissenting opinions. I haven't heard any questions or critical feedback yet. I think one of the other things to flag that is exciting to me about this is that can give us some additional tooling and process for kind of a subscription and different top-up models, because one of the things we're talking about with doing this is giving that multi-sig sort of 2 weeks worth of data cap at a time and tracking how much data cap it has, and then having that automated top-up from the root key holders. And so if some of that tooling and modeling works, this is kind of what we're trying to have with the subsequent allocation bot. And as we can get that closer and closer to dialed in, we really want to see how we can get the time without data cap for an already approved client even lower. So once a client has been approved and they're continuing to operate in good faith, we want to get them ongoing easy access to data cap. And so some of these tools I think will help get us there. So we've talked about this. If you have more questions, you could raise a hand now or jump into that issue number 509. We're hoping to move forward with this and start building some of the tooling changes over the next 2 weeks. So at the next governance call, we'll see if there's another time when people had questions about it, and we may be releasing some new tooling updates. So that's all I got. If there are no hands, pass the mic back.
All right, thank you for that, Galen. So the next topic on the agenda is the Fil Plus Day that's upcoming, and that's coming quick. It's June 7th, which is going to be here tomorrow, the way that the universe moves at this point in time. So we've talked about this on the last 2 calls, and I'll be honest, we'll probably talk about this on the next 2 calls. And just to kind of stress, the focus for this Fil Plus Day is going to be on virtual attendees. We realize coming out to Austin for many of us is a long, difficult travel. So just to give you a heads up, when we set these sessions up, we're going to prioritize making sure that the mics are all good, that the rooms are small in size, that the slides are geared into you who is attending virtually. So I know that might alleviate any kind of like concerns on either coming in person or is it worth your time. The second is if you are coming live, love it. If you send me a DM, I'll make sure that you're like met, greeted, prioritized, because there will be so few people coming. This is part of a broader conference that's taking place. It's the Filecoin conference taking place in Austin. I'll make sure that we reshare the link for you again in the chat, but that'll be taking place on the 8th, directly after this Fil Plus Day. So ours is mainly virtual, but if you come live, love to have you. The second thing is that we're working on the agenda as this starts to come together. Really keen to get your input. Last time we did this Fil Plus Day, I think it was May or April of 2021, the program was in a very different place. It was just getting started. We were focusing on like, how do we make this work? And Deep, when he put this together, made it more informational sessions. So if you go back even to this day, it's a great way to learn about the program if you've never heard anything about it. We're trying to get feedback on what you would like to see for a 2022 conference. And we've started that now, like on a couple of list of roadmaps. So we'll be talking about what engineering priorities we have coming up for this year, solicit any input for next year. The social impact, we've invited some speakers to come talk about how that's playing out and how that business development role is happening internal as well as external. Enterprise proposals, like the one Meg from Holon gave us last week, as far as collecting sentiment from notaries and then having that improve the process as it goes, as well as notary profiles, which I might be asking some of you for like, hey, why did you want to become a notary? What are you doing with your organization? And then kind of sharing that for more of a team community. But we'd also like to expand this agenda to make it more tactical. Are there things specifically that we should address as a community in a longer forum? Are there presentations that you'd like to hear from PL or FF? And we could specifically build that in. So take a moment, if you haven't done so already, into the chat as far as like what you would like to see, what are some pain points, and we'll bake that in. And those of you that are in the notary room, I might be sending you a direct ping too, like, hey, is there anything specific that we could include in this that would make it more effective? So I'll kind of pause one more time if anybody like to discuss this agenda, Fil Plus Day, or bring anything up that they'd like to see included. All right, be right there in chat when you want. I'm going to put this link up one more time because I know if you've joined the call late, you cannot see the link as we came through it. So this is just one last final ping to if you joined the call and you came in, This is the Airtable link, and I will just put that link right here in our chat one more time for us. And you'll follow this and fill it out. So those of you who joined late, this is just that one final chance to check in. So going up next, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to turn the floor over. We have 7 presenters that are coming for the next 35 minutes. And if we hold time, we'll still have about maybe 5-10 minutes tops at the very end of this call for any questions that might not be on the agenda. So to those of you presenting, this is the order that we're going through. I'll let you share your screen to walk through your slides. And just as a friendly reminder, you have 5 minutes. So at the 1 minute remaining mark, I'll unmute and just give you a friendly ping. And then once you hit that 5, I'll play that Oscar music and kind of play you off stage politely. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our first presenter from the Survey and Design Co. Do we have that rep on the line who'd like to share screen? Do it going once, going twice. If you come a little bit late, I guess you won't hear me saying this, but we'll give you one more pass. All right, Molmard, are you guys here and ready to go?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can do it.
All right, the floor is yours.
All right. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right. So let me make it bigger. Okay. So we are a chemical online marketplace. So some people think that we are the chemical Amazon or chemical Alibaba, but we actually do a lot more than that. So we not only are showing people where you can find your product and the suppliers, we actually have a big data search engine. So we help the chemists and biologists to search and research their product, find the synthesis routes, and we help them to find the product that might never exist in the world, and which suppliers they can reach out to make it. So that we do. So if you look at this, the entire market of chemicals, so we don't do the very black and white chemical bulk chemicals, because that's fairly transparent market that we a lot of our competitors have been helping them. So we do those not so we do that very low degree of transparency market. So what I mean is that the product quality is fairly low, and the same thing, say a cheeseburger, well, you can find it for $2 or $20,000. So the price for the same thing could vary by 100% or 100 times or even more. So that's the market that we target to. So that's our core market. Research biotech, research things, pharmaceutical advanced intermediates. That's the things that we help most of our customers. And here shows the dark market. It's like a black hole. So there are 160 million products in the world, so which is around 30 times more than what Amazon sells. And for those products, less than 1% or less than 0.1% of products even existed in the world. So you got to find the suppliers to make it for you. And this supplier group is like black hole. You don't know which one can provide. And not only that, as a buyer, so price is not the things that you are looking. It's not the only thing you're looking for. So a lot of other things, quality, lead time, those are the things most of the chemists are more into it instead of price.
1 minute warning.
All right. So If you don't know what product is, this is kind of product, the pictures and the a lot of attributes. So our business model is like that. So we have tons of suppliers and covers 90% or even more globally. So we do more than most of the marketplace has been doing. We're not just collecting pictures and capabilities. So we collect over 300 attributes and put them into database. We pre-analyze that. Products the same thing. We collect a lot of attributes and we pre-analyze that. So once we have that, our analytics engine could mix and match, matching the product suppliers and buyers all together. So this is what it is. Putting the products and either structure or case number, do a search, we'll sort all the suppliers in the world, and by the likelihood of providing the products. So what's that service? Okay, competitive advantage, that's, we don't need to cover that. We have database, we have techniques and exactly.
Perfect. And thank you so much. I'm gonna play that thank you music. If there's anything else, if you want to link that slide deck either in the chat, I'll also point out to everybody on the call that this slide deck is in the GitHub repository for this call. I'll give you maybe one last second if you want to put any closing thoughts on it. We'll move on to the next presenter.
Well, all right. So this shows up for our work, more eMark work. So we know buyers, suppliers, and compounds products more than they do. So they don't know what they can provide. Suppliers, they don't know what they can provide. But we have to analyze their capabilities, their skills, experience, so we know what they can do. So there are only 1% or less than 1% of the product in the world. So we tell people, what to buy and where to buy and what price that you should offer to get the product. And for suppliers, it's the same thing. We tell them what product you can make to be able to sell. So that's what we do.
Outstanding. In the interest of time, if anybody has any questions on this application, feel free to ping them directly, Molmar. And in the interest of time, we'll move on to the next presenter. So coming up next, due to order of operations, we have Tech Greedy. Were you on the line? I might have jumped you. So Tech Greedy, are you here?
Yes, I'm on the line.
Perfect. Well, I apologize for going 3-2, but the floor is yours. All set.
Share screen, share. Okay, cool. Hey guys, hi people. My name is Shinan. I'm from Tech Greedy. I'm presenting a data set called Nexrad. So first thing, who is Tech Greedy? So for people who didn't know us, we are clients who have been participating, who have been onboarding multiple data sets to Filecoin ecosystem like Slingshot and other private sets, other data sets. We are also providers for Filecoin system. We're also being recently elected as a notary in this round. And finally, we are also developer for our ecosystem. So we have been participating in different multiple aspects for the Filecoin ecosystem. So what is Nexrad? The Nexrad is a public data set for the next generation weather radar network. It is a data set for historical weather data, and the consumer of the data, they can use Python script to render pictures and the images for the historical weather. Okay, there's a video. Okay, next one. Why the application? So there are two main reasons for the application. So one is that we, as a developer of the Filecoin ecosystem, we are currently working on a large-scale client tooling, which petabyte scale data onboarding. And this is actually a public grant from Protocol Labs, aiming to get some large scale to client tooling from end to end, from data onboarding to the final replication of the data to retrieval. It's a very complete requirement for how we should be onboarding data to the Filecoin system. And as part of the requirement of this grant, we want to demonstrate the capability of onboarding petabyte scale of unique data within 60 days. So there are a few good things about this grant. One is that it needs to ensure the scalability and reliability of the deal generation, deal making, and distribution. It also integrates with different provider reputation system So we will need to consume metrics from field rep, Esteri, and we also need to public metrics to other consumers. And finally, the most important thing is about the data retrieval. As part of this grant, we'll be building a standardized data model so that the data retrieval will be user-friendly, where the user, they can use commands similar to AWS S3 to retrieve content from Filecoin directly. And another reason of this grant is that we are also working with Big Data Exchange. It's a project funded by Starboard Ventures. They have built a platform which allows the storage provider discovery, and they also have a bidding system for client and the storage provider to participate. It's quite similar to Fil by Fil team. But the platform is still in its early stage, so we plan to only allocate less than 20% of the platform to see how it works. First thing, we don't, as a commitment of the platform, they will also do KYC for the store providers, and they will also maintain a reputation for those store providers. So we know if those store provider is like they don't have retrieval, we will no longer work with the store providers. And finally, why Nexrad dataset? So Nexrad is a public dataset and is currently eligible for slingshot implementation. So once we onboard the dataset, we can register this dataset with the slingshot website. So any consumers, they will be able to build application against this dataset. And also, just to disclose this one, all the rewards will be used to support future development of the software, like maintenance, upgrades, feature requests of the software. Last thing, allocation plan. So for the first round, so I know the data cap is like having multiple rounds, and for the first round, mainly it will be used for self-development, testing, and troubleshooting, which kind of includes a very trivial amount of like self-dealing to want to make sure that the software works end to end. But majority of the data cap will be used for other providers, and we want to work with the providers that we worked before, like from APAC region, we have Cabrina, we have Holland. From NA region, we have Picnic, we have CS Group. From EU, we have Elioft, Rob, and Decent. And also we are working with Big Data Exchange to allocate probably less than 20% of our data cap to them to support the development of their platform. And we're also open to other experienced storage providers who are willing to test our solution, but they do need some the boost as a market node. Cool. So that is my application and my presentation. Any questions, any concern, any comment?
Great presentation. I might say, as like an audience member, what's next in your application? What are you waiting for? The initial?
So currently we are already testing our software in CalculationNet. We are waiting for, once we have this application approved, we should be able to start working on the testing of our software on mainnet with some of the providers. That's for the first round. We just want to make sure the software works as an end-to-end. And once that has been tested out, then we will start the scalability testing to onboard more data set to the Filecoin platform with those selected providers.
Great. All right. Pending any other questions from the community, feel free to post it in chat or ask as we go through. It was a great discussion. Number 4 on the list is the common primitive universe. So if we have a rep from that team, the floor is yours. Common primitive.
Yeah, thank you. So let me share my screen. So can you see my screen? Hold a moment. Let me see. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, the first page of my screen, right? Okay, so now we are from Shanghai Common Technology, and we are a platform for NFT copyright registration, certification, and transaction. So right now we are collaborating with Zhejiang Copyright Bureau and the Copyright Association and some universities and the photo or design institutions such as Visual China and Huaban.com. So on this prevailing Chinese platforms, there are at least 40 million creators or authors, and there are billions of the materials. So it needs at least 50p. And every year there will be an additional 5 to 10p storage requirements. So this is a huge market potential. Right now, we are collaborating with Alibaba Cloud. So it is a centralized storage. It's not so safe and the cost is very high. That's why we think IPFS protocol and the Filecoin will be a very good choice for us. So this is about China's copyright market. It's growing fast and it accounts for more than 7% in China's GDP. And the copyright image is, sorry, let me switch to my slides. 现在是吗？现在还是那个屏幕吗？ Okay, so this is China's copyright market. And right now, the market value is more than 10 billion or 1.5 billion US dollar, but only 23% has a legitimate copyright. Others are pirate. And the other pain point in China is the management system is not so good and the registration process is very complicated. That's why we call for better business model. So right now in China, usually the copyright certificates are paper-based or they are the certificates with a third-party timestamp. So that doesn't address the pain point on the market. So this is our mode. We are planning to collaborate with the mainstream platforms such as Visual China and Huaban.com. As I said earlier, they have 14 million authors and they have a lot of materials. That's why they need more than 100p for data storage. And they are going to upload their works to our platform to share. Besides, we are going to collaborate with the local copyright bureau and copyright authority to have an NFT copyright platform so that the creators can just register their copyright on that. And we are offering the storage service, NFT certificates, and the transactions. So this is some of the plan. We are going to collaborate with the local culture bureau so that we can make historical relics and holidays into NFT. And also, we are going to help the universities, especially art schools, for art exhibitions. It will be online. And every year in China's colleges and universities, such as China Academy for Art and the Communication University of Zhejiang, they have a lot of activities like this. So from this, you can see some logos. They are our partners, universities or design institutes. And so this is our business. It will look like that. And bear with me, have another 1 minute. I'm going to show you our website. Yeah, so this is our website. And from here, we can have a tab, NFT copyright. You click on it, and then you can just register your copyright. Hold on, let me see. Let me see this. So here for the NFT copyright, you can scroll down and you click NFT copyright register. Sorry, it doesn't have English yet. Then you can put the name, the time, author, etc., and then submit. And if you're lucky, you can just get your NFT certificate in 1 day. So that's all for our presentation, and we're looking forward to collaborating with you. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Hey, that was great. I think the only thing I would say is if you put your link in the slide deck, I know that we shared the repository, but some of the people on the line might like to see the link to your site or your slides or your application. I'd speed that up for you. Thank you for
Okay, I will do that in the chat link. Yeah, thank you.
Fabulous. All right, next is we have the 5th presenter. It's LDN 301. I apologize, I'm going to mispronounce this, but it looks like Heng Zhao, the technology code. Sharing my screen here just so you can see the agenda. If there was a rep here from Heng Zhao, Sulu.
Hello.
Yes, hello. The floor is yours.
Thank you. So I'm going to share my screen now. Just wait a minute. So can you see my slides?
Not yet. We do not see any screen sharing.
No, sorry. Okay, so this one. Okay, this should be okay. Still no?
Yeah, we got you. All right, the floor is yours. 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you. So we are Hangzhou Silu Technology with the distance learning platform. With the normalized prevention and control of the COVID-19, the field of remote office and online teaching has gradually become known, and many colleges and universities have gradually increased their efforts to establish their own online teaching platform. At present, China has about 3,000 institutions of higher education and 15,000 institutions of vocational education, with more than 500 million students receiving education. Therefore, this will be a huge market. So this is the whole system of the teaching platform. We started this project in 2006, including our collaboration and the collection and push function, live streaming, on-demand services, the operational side, the mental health of students, teaching behavior analysis, etc. Currently, we are cooperating with Communication University of Zhejiang, Gannan Medical University, Zhejiang Shuren University, Shandong University of Finance and Economics, Zhenjiang Institution of Mechanical and Electronical Engineering, and so on. In this system, 5 to 10 PB of audio and video data and other campus data will be generated every year, which has a large amount of information and a large demand for storage space. Obviously, Filecoin is a very good choice for us. Our system is very strong and powerful. At present, we carry out technological cooperation with Hikvision and Dahua in video recognition analysis, collaborate with WeChat in campus information push service, and cooperate with iFlyTech in voice analysis service. Our system also supports live streaming with 20 million audience. Next, I would like to focus on the main features of our whole system. The first feature is that it has a remote teaching function, which can carry out live on-demand services through DingTalk, Tencent Meeting, TikTok, etc., anytime, anywhere, on and off campus. In addition, we also carry out classroom behavior analysis, which can analyze students' behavior such as sleeping, raising hands, and writing, as well as teachers' lectures during class, forming an analysis report to related departments. At the same time, we also can analyze the students who watch the online teaching videos and which knowledge points they watch repeatedly. We can feedback this information to teachers and education departments to promote the quality of teaching. The intellectual property rights of the system are entirely owned by ourselves, including the hardware and software, so we can check out our official website for details. Just wait a second, I'm going to share the website. So, yes, just so this one. So this is the home page. And since 2006, our company has been engaged in the education system and has participated in the cooperation with various colleges and universities across the country. Later, we began to focus on the model of AI plus intelligence education. And also, this one is about the enterprise qualification. Our enterprise is recognized by the state as the high-tech enterprise and has also passed the AAA accreditation. And you can see here, we have got a lot of accreditations here. And next one is about the project cases here. We have cooperated with University of Science and Technology of China, Communication University of Zhejiang, Zhejiang University of Technology, Gannan Medical University, and the Beijing Institute of Technology, and so on, which have shown on this page. So we can see that the demand for data storage is huge. This is also the reason why we choose Filecoin platform. Okay, that's the presentation. Thank you very much for your listening. Thank you.
Hey, bravo. Nice looking website too.
Thank you.
Can we ask a question about this application? Or?
Please.
Yes, sure.
I put it also in the chat, but what data are you going to store? Is this data publicly available? Because education materials normally are copyright protected.
Yes. Just wait a minute. I'm going to discuss with my colleagues. Yes, all the teaching materials are public and everyone can get that.
All right.
Yes, okay. So any more questions?
Do you have a Slack?
Email Slack. Yes. Yes, we have.
Can you post your account or channel handler in the chat?
Sorry?
Can you post your username in the chat?
Okay. 把那个 username 放到那个他的聊天对框里面 username.
It's okay. What I'll do is if you stop screen sharing, we'll go on to the next presenter, and then that way you can grab what you have in Slack.
Yes, I'm going to share my username here on the chat room. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have LDN number 332. It's the Sengzhu. If you guys are on the line, the floor is yours, number 6.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, sure. Hello, this is Evie from Genshu Technology, and I'm the co-founder of Genshu AI Technology. So we are a company focusing on artificial intelligence algorithm research and talent training. Our company was established in Chengdu High Tech Zone, and we focus on the research of artificial intelligence basic algorithms. So we have many experiences in industrial inspections and medical treatment. And we also have in-depth research and development in defect detection of rail transit and subway and automotive chip surface. So our products have 15 patents for invention, 11 patents for utility models, and we have more than 10 soft copyrights. So first of all, about our data. Our data are mainly divided into 4 categories, with our AI training videos taking up about 22%, audios 8%, training materials 28%, and our database 42%, which in total takes up about 920 terabytes. But we will also need 4 copies, so which means we would like to apply for 4.5 petabytes in total. So now I will have a more detailed introduction about our company. So our research and development goes deep into the bottom layer of artificial intelligence technology, and our company maintains technological advancement, and we will continue to make breakthroughs and innovations in the AI algorithm capabilities. The technological breakthroughs in R&D will get to create more innovative applications with high competitiveness. And through the training and teaching of AI talents, and through the construction of AI laboratories and disciplines in colleges, and we can export more AI technical talents to the society. So now let's come to our products. So first of all, we have applications that realize non-contact physiological indicator monitoring. So we have applications in vivo detection, mental health detection through sensors like cameras and millimeter wave radar, which can collect the physiological information, and these messages will be sent to the customers through robots or applications on your phone. So for example, we have the magic mirror that can show you your personal physiological indicators Now let me show you a small clip of video. Can you guys see the video?
Yes, we
Yes.
see the video.
Yeah, okay. So from this video, we can see that this magic mirror can show you your personal information, like your heart rate, your blood pressure, your breathing rate, your age, gender, etc. And besides, we can also use the AI technology to solve problems in orthodontics industry. So we can see from these pictures, the automatic enrichment effect using our AI technology is almost exactly the same as a doctor's enrichment effect. So with the help of AI algorithm, we can reduce the labor cost of diagnosis by 60%, shorten the time of diagnosis and treatment by 80%, and the accuracy of diagnosis is about 98%. In terms of our talent training, we have recruited more than 1,000 students from both online and offline. So we already have more than 600 students getting employed in different cities with an average salary of 20K RMB per month. And Chengdu has the most students for about 250. And we will continue to recruit more students in other first and second tier cities of China. Here are some of our collaborated companies, including local partners and national partners. And here are some of our collaborated universities in China. And students from these universities will participate in our AI talent training programs. So we're really looking forward to getting your approval and collaborating with you. Thank you.
Can you please look in the chat and answer this question?
Okay, first question. Our data remains, I think I have some introduction. Yes. Our database, our training videos, teaching, training materials and audios. All these materials are public. And
is the goal that you're backing these things up in Filecoin, or are you actually actively using them to train models using Filecoin as well? Are you just backing up the training materials to Filecoin, or are you actively retrieving from Filecoin as well to run the models and update them?
I will discuss this with my colleagues, and I will send this answer into the chat box later. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
And is it okay to have this data available all over the world, the whole planet?
Yes.
Also outside of China?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a really good question. I think one thing that we'll continue to flag and discuss. In the interest of time, just to kind of check in, we had 2 more presenters. The first wasn't ready to go. So Survey and Design Co., I don't think we're going to have time. I will make sure that we save 5 minutes for you in a future session. I think moving on, we have Quaistone Information Technology. Then I want to save just a few minutes for any open discussion. So Quaistone, we have a tight 5 and the floor is yours. Do one more call out, last call. Anybody from, I might be mispronouncing this, Quaistone Information Technology, representing LDM 324. All right, looks like Zonghe Survey and Design Co. just due to them back in, we still have that time slot if you'd like to take it. Otherwise, we could happily get you next time.
Hi, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so hi everyone, I'm Janice from Zhonghe Survey and Design Company. Very glad to be here. First of all, let me share a brief history of Zhonghe to you. Zhonghe Survey and Design Company is founded in 2007 and it is based in Beijing. It is a high-tech enterprise with internet and intelligent hardware technology innovation as a core. Zhonghe has a wide range of environment monitoring business. Since its establishment, the company has always been committed to agriculture and environment business. Major business include mineral resource exploration, water quality monitoring, environmental quality monitoring, development of intelligent hardware of agriculture, big data analysis for agriculture, and food safety traceability. The company consistently implements the International Quality Management System and has obtained the National Industry Production License Technology Certification. And now let me show you the certification. This certification we got. Okay, so back to the PowerPoint. Major products of Zhonghe include integrated automatic weather station monitoring system, remote wireless acquisition control system, integrated dust monitoring system, small climate collection systems, and soil moisture monitoring systems. Now let me show you a case of Zhonghe, the meteorological environment monitoring case. There are two purposes of the monitoring system. Firstly, the holistic monitoring data can be an early warning for related agents and people. Secondly, for monitoring and reporting meteorological data, agents can know environment data better, like rainfall, wind speed, and wind direction. Zhonghe is a 15-year-old company. During these years, we have a lot of data from several projects. The specific statistics are as follows. As time goes by, Zhonghe will have more and more data. And that's the biggest reason we choose the Filecoin network. We have a lot of data and we correctly pay a lot of money for centralized data storage. However, many data are used in very low frequency, on average 3 to 6 months. But we cannot delete this data because of their historical value. Because most of the data is owned by our company, and so there is no privacy issue. Remaining customer data are all authorized by our customers and are all data masking processed. Filecoin is a decentralized storage platform which can help us solve our storage issue. Our data are valuable and can be useful for humanity during a long time. We have already recruited experienced engineers to handle with the storage of data to the Filecoin network. If we are successfully authorized for the data cap quota, we will distribute the data strictly according to the rules of File+. We will also actively promote the storage of data from the entire serving and inspection industry on the Filecoin network. That's all. Thanks for your listening.
So there's no sensitive data here, and it can be accessible all over the planet without any problems.
Yeah, these data like soil temperature, soil moisture, and these data are all open resource.
Okay.
Okay, if you want to stop sharing your screen, I think with the 1 or 2 minutes we have left, I'll turn it open to the floor. If there's anything anybody wanted to ask from the presentations, the topics we discussed with Filecoin Plus Day, with upcoming notary onboarding, with anything taking place on LDN v3, this would be the forum for any discussions we might want to hold.
Hello?
Hey, I see you sharing screen, but we have 15 seconds worth of meeting time left. So whatever this is, we might need to put a pin and come back to it another time.
So we have a lot of data, and now we put this data on centralized data storage, and we think that if we store this data on Filecoin, we can save a lot of money.
All right. Okay, well, with that at 12 o'clock, I think that what we're going to do is move forward. Notaries that can participate on the 10th. Looking forward to chatting with you in the private channel about any questions you have, any topics ahead of time, and we'll get your wallets all set up and we'll start allocating the data and getting you onboarding. To all of the presenters today, thank you. Thank you for keeping it in time. Thank you for signing up. We'll probably be looking at this process in a way to streamline this to make it easier for everybody, and we'll look at that in the coming times. Anybody who's just joined the call, thank you. If there's any thoughts or after actions, feel free to come to Slack or the GitHub repository for this meeting, and we'll be sure to link it as well as the recording. Thank you, and we'll see you guys all in the second session in about 7 hours. Cheers.
Hey, Kevin.
Yo.
I actually have one more question.
Go for it.
Just wondering, like, is it a requirement for every LDN client to present in this core?
No, not a requirement at all. This was just these LDNs wanted to share their work to make sure that it was more public and that it could be seen by notaries. But no, it is not a requirement. This is kind of an exception to see this many come through.
Okay, nice. Thanks.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to what is the 9th Notary Governance call of 2022. This is the second session at 4 p.m. Pacific, and we're going to be kicking off. So I guess I should share a screen to make that official. There we go. That's a little bit better. So we just shared the date. Let's say that again. The agenda that we have for this governance call is a little bit different than others. And the reason for it is during the morning, we had 8 presenters that wanted time to present their projects and discuss issues. So with that, we kept the agenda a little bit truncated. So this session might be a quick notary governance call if there's nothing you want to bring to light, or this could be one of those times for ad hoc discussions for anything that's on your mind, because we had the extra time as we went forward on that. So as a result, we've skipped metrics. We'll gloss over that and maybe post that online if you're curious to see it. With a friendly hello, if you've never seen us before, my name is Kevin. Deep, Galen, and I are your team, making sure that this program is working for you. Say hi anytime, here to help. And if this is your first time on the call, I think I say this every time, please say in chat, hello, I'm new, I came here for X, looking for Y, and myself, Deep, or a member of the team will be happy to get you set up. And if you're a notary and you are dialing in tonight, thank you. We love the participation, we love the community, and we value that. So we want to make sure we give you proper credit. I'm just going to post the link a third time because I know if you join the call late, you can't see the chat. But if you sign up on that Airtable, it just logs your attendance, the trackers, goes a long way, and that'll be part of the leaderboard that we launch here shortly. So what are we talking about tonight? The first thing up on the agenda is for you notaries. This is a check-in on where we stand with the onboarding process, keeping you updated and letting you know what next steps are. And then we have the LDN v3 Deep, maybe we could pass it to you for that update when we come to it in time, or I'll be happy to talk. I'll just defer to you. If you unmute, I will assume you're good to go. if not, I'll talk to it. So
I'll happily do it, no problem.
Oh, you're the man. You're the man. So for notaries, here's just a quick update on what's going on with the community and taking place. So the first is speaking requests. We talked about this on the last Notary Governance call, just to kind of reiterate, because this is a little bit of a new procedure that we're putting in place, making sure we give it time to season and set. If you'd like any dedicated time to speak to an issue on this Notary Governance call, the best way to do it is every week after the call, there'll be a new issue in the GitHub repository. Log in and just leave a comment. Hey, Kevin, I'd like to speak to XYZ for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you need to get that time across, and we'll put it. The default time allocation is 5 minutes. So if you like any more time before 5 minutes, kind of spell that out. Like, hey, this is going to be a larger discussion, like some of our past topics, or hey, this is just a quick intro of a project that I'd like other people to see. So whether you're a notary, a client, an applicant, whoever it may be, even just a community member, trying to keep this as open as possible, but in a fair way that's respectful of schedules. So if you have anything you'd like to see on the formal agenda, please submit it on that GitHub repo. And for the notary onboarding process, so woo, what a change. So if you're new, if you're coming on board to the Filecoin Plus program, and this was your first time getting elected, you're like, hey, I got elected, where do I stand with the process? So here's where we are. It's taken just a Herculean effort to link every little bit of data from the applications to the Slack names, to the GitHub handles, to the emails, to the ledger IDs, and then compile it in a way where we can communicate effectively by region, by topic, by need. So that's been a lot of the groundswell that I've been working on for the past couple of days. Now that that is at the finish line, what's going to happen next? Next week at this time, as well as next week at the morning time where we typically have the governance call, I'll be hosting a live onboarding chat. The purpose of this is to have a session where we just kind of cover in Q&A form, as well as guided walkthroughs like I'm doing. We're sharing screen, showing you the best practices for getting set up as a new notary. How do you work your ledger? How do you get your data cap? How do you allocate the data cap? How should you be communicating with applicants? How will applicants communicate with you? So we'll cover all of this in a live format. So 2 things on that. 1, this session is by invitation only to existing notaries. So if you were a notary or a new notary, please come. Love to have you. We're going to kind of do like a door check at the gate. Like, so, hey, what notary are you with? Who do you represent? And then cross-reference that against the list. So if you have not responded to any of the GitHub issues, if we have not talked and you're not added on Slack, that might be a great indicator before next week to please respond to that issue. Please ping me on Slack so I could link these accounts and then unify that, because next week, that's what I'll be using. The second is some of you represent organizations with more than one person. That is fine. That is totally good. So if you'd like to have 4 people from your organization come to the training and receive it, that is a-okay. Just please send me a Slack ahead of time. Hey, Kevin, my name is X from this organization. These other people will be on the line with me. What we're looking to do is just try to keep it a little bit more intimate so we can really focus on the questions and then post that. So if you have any existing questions, I'm going to pause and see if there was any impact, feedback, or concerns about this upcoming session next week. All right. If you have anything that comes to mind, chat's right there. Happy to help. And then this is also in the Notary Slack channel for the private. LDNV3, Deep, my friend.
Yeah, just posted a link to the issue in chat as well for those of you that want to look at it. Don't need to spend too much time on this. I think we went into a fair bit of detail on the last governance call. I think the main thing here is, like, it seems like most people are in support of this proposal. We've done some sort of deep dives on our end on what it would take to implement this from a technical standpoint. So the different teams that we work with, there's a couple of challenges here. Like, firstly, like the interop between the GitHub issue and like how it interacts with other things in the background has changed quite a bit, because we're no longer going through the process of every time needing to request from the root key holders, and then the root key holder themselves would have a separate top-up loop for the central like LDN. So we did some sort of planning and technical designing out on like how expensive this would be to implement, and we're thinking it's about 3 to 4 weeks ish of work to at least get a bare bones, somewhat working version of this using our tooling. So we're probably going to go ahead with that. There's also some complexity on the dashboard side and overall tracking. I know that there's a lot of teams in the ecosystem already working on tracking dashboards and tracking flow of data cap, and there's going to have to be net new work there to support this, because you can no longer just like follow the data cap flow for a net new notary that was established through an LDN application, but you actually have to like follow it for a given client address and then attribute those allocations back to individual signers on the overall LDN multisig. But again, seems like a cost worth paying, seems like a step in the right direction. People are supportive. And so main update here is going to be moving forward with this as soon as possible. Have some ideas on how to flesh it out. If any of you are interested in talking through the technical stuff, please hit me up. We're happy to discuss our current implementation plan and the direction we want to go in with this. Any other thoughts on this overall idea and architecture? Definitely want to give you the space to share now. But I see some nods, I see some smiles. I think I'm going to take it as like we're generally good to go on this front. I think one thing I did want to clarify is that there are a couple of LDN applications coming in that feel a little bit more specific still. So a good example of this is the project Antarctic being run with Seal. They've got a couple others as well where this generic LDN process didn't work for them anyway, and they needed to go through this path of getting a specific set of like notaries under an NDA that were signing with like more complexity based on privacy of their client or privacy of the data itself being encrypted and not being able to share that with the rest of the community. And this isn't super specifically called out, but it's kind of implied. And so I do want to call it out that for those types of client applications, the expectations are going to continue using the process that they have to today. They won't fall under this generic sort of LDN flow. This is meant to replace, the 200 plus open client applications that we have today that naturally go through the flow, don't have like disproportionate complexity, and generally like are smooth and don't have as much upfront cost. And so that sort of bucket that like has that high complexity, I think is also something that Meg has been thinking a lot about, and we're going to continue thinking about through like the enterprise Fil Plus side of things and continue to optimize through there. This is more of a solution for like the overall, not super complex, but needs to go through at a high throughput rate pathway to data cap, I guess. Thank you for hearing me out. Let me know if you have any thoughts. Cool. Kira, I think we on to the next.
Cool. All right, you guys, I don't know if you're sick of me talking about Fil Plus Day or you're juiced or just in the middle of the road. Just as fair warning, I'll probably talk about it 2 more times before it actually happens. So hopefully I'm at the low end of your patience for running out talking about this. So Fil Plus Day coming up on June 7th. Here's some of the questions that we had that have come through. Just want to answer them in a public forum for everybody. So the event is going to be live in Austin, Texas. But when we're setting this event up, we're trying to tailor it. Actually, not even trying. We are tailoring this for an online audience, assuming that 90% of the people that come are going to be dialing in. So that said, if you're able to attend live, love it. Looking forward to seeing you. Thanks for coming. Let's hang out. It's going to be great. Let me know, and we'll make sure that we have space available for you in the live session. We're making small allocations for breakout rooms and discussions. If you're attending live, great. If you're going to be dialing in remote, that invitation is going to be getting posted to the public Slacks any day now. We're just waiting for design to finish up the invite, and then it will be one of those web registrations where you say, hey, I'd like to sign up. I'd like to join. For all of you on the call, what we're looking for now is feedback, input, ideas on content. So at a very high level, I've shared I wouldn't even call this a roadmap or an agenda, but just some of the key points that we're trying to fill And I wanted to discuss these in a little bit and then see if there was something that anybody wanted to flag as like, hey, I'd like time to talk or hear about something or have this brought up. So here are the 4 things that we have on the agenda so far. The first is a very detailed vision of the roadmap, where we kind of share this in detail on what's on par for H2, what does 2023 and beyond look like, and then how are we resourcing against solving those critical problems and keeping you updated on the status that you'll see with this program. The second is social impact. How are we really defining that and then making our place within the community? And we have some speakers to talk about that. We have enterprise proposals. So members of the community, Megan, you're on this call right now. Thank you. They've done a lot of work on floating feedback from the community on ways to increase the engagement and participation across the enterprise. So we'll definitely be hearing about that, next steps, ideas, feedbacks, and discussions. And then lastly, a section on notary profiles. For the first time, we have over 50 notaries. So really looking at like, who is the makeup of this, a little bit of metrics on like, where do we come from? What are we looking for in the program? And essentially a chance to share our voices amongst each other and start to really build out that community. So if there was any ideas that you would like to see added or discussed, this is your moment. Feel free to post it in chat, or I'm just going to unmute for a minute and let you have the floor to present your idea.
Question, Kevin, is this a notary community or is it open to the whole ecosystem?
The whole ecosystem will be invited to this.
Great.
But to your point, we are focusing it on the Fil Plus issues that we're discussing. So it's going to be notary focused. And the reason for that is we don't want the emphasis taken away from the issues that are most impacting. There will be a separate storage provider meetup in the afternoon. So if you know or work with storage providers that may have issues that might not overlap, I would be happy to help direct them to the storage provider meetup. All right. I know when there's no demand for a question, I'm going to assume that we're there right now. If anything pops in, you're going to bed at night and you're like, oh man, I should have told Kevin about this. Feel free to Slack me anytime. All right, I'm going to do this participation link one last time. And the reason for this is, again, this will not show up if you join the call after we posted it. So there's one more time for you to log in for this May 3rd session. Just consider that just a housekeeping thing that may take place until we automate this. Cool. So here's where the call can kind of take 2 turns. During the morning session, we had these 7 speakers, and these 7 speakers joined and they gave us a presentation of their LDN applications, introduce themselves and their organizations. I don't know if anyone is on the line that's part of these 7 organizations, but if you are, you still hold the time slot. So is anybody from these orgs in this order on the line and would like to present right now?
Hey, I'm Shina from Integrity. I can present it again, given the audience is slightly different.
I will completely defer to you. If you would like to rely on your morning recording as your best representation, and if you would like to present now, you still have the time. I'll defer to you on your call.
Cool. Just want to give it maybe a few more seconds to see if there are any other people wanted to present. If not, I'll present.
I got a couple of questions. Oh, sorry, somebody was going to say something.
I'm sorry, Deep. Go with your questions. I was going to say it's just him. So Tech Greedy, if you want to present, and then yes, to Deep's point, we do have some questions.
Yeah, I got some questions in Zoom from Corin, and so happy to give them the floor as well.
All right, Tech Greedy, would you like to share your screen?
Yes, I'm doing it right now.
Okay. All right, we can see your screen. The 5 minutes is yours.
Okay, cool. Thanks you. So my name is Shinan. I'm from Integrity. I'm presenting the application for dataset Nexrad. Okay, so first thing, who is what is integrity? So we are an organization who actually have participated in multiple aspects of Filecoin ecosystem. We are clients who we've done slingshot, slingshot restore, slingshot evergreen, and we also store other private data sets. We also have a few providers providing storage for the ecosystem. And we are now recently elected as a third round of the Notary. And finally, we are developer who are actively developing tools for the ecosystem. The data set is called Nexrad. It's a next generation weather radar network. It is a public data set hosted on AWS S3, which is a historical weather data for the last 20 years. Oh, there's a jive for the weather. Okay, so why the application? So there are two major reasons for the application. The first reason is we actually currently have a grant from the Political Lab to develop a large-scale client tooling with scale data onboarding. There's the link of the grant. I will share it in the chat once I finish the presentation. So the tool is there are multiple purposes of the tool. One is to ensure the scalability and the reliability of the deal generation, deal making, and distribution. It is a complete solution for end-to-end from storage provider selection, data set preparation to replication of the data set and to final retrieval of the data set. We also integrate with the provider reputation system, which will consume metrics from FieldRep or Theory, and we'll also provide metrics to other consumers. And finally, we are having a very high standard of data retrieval model so that the index will be provided on IPFS, so any end user can retrieve it, can search for the data and find the data using the data retrieval tool we provide. And as part of the grant, we need to demonstrate the capability of onboarding 1 petabyte of unique data within 30 days. And that's a major reason of why we need this grant. The other reason of the application is that the other part of the application is that we are actually collaborating with Big Data Exchange. It is a tool, it's a platform that is funded by the Starboard Ventures. It's similar to FieldSwam. It provides storage provider discovery and the bidding system. And they will also do KYC and maintain the reputation of their miner. So if the miner is no longer legit for retrieval, they will remove that miner from the system. So I think they are currently in their alpha stage. I think they will present it probably in another month or two. But yeah, I do want to collaborate with them to let them to try out their solution and help them develop their platform. And next one, why are we using Nexrad? So Nexrad is a public data set which is currently available for eligible for Slingshot competition. And once we onboard this data set, it will be registered on the Slingshot website. So any consumer or any user, they can go to the Slingshot website and find the data set and how to retrieve the data from the website. All the Slingshot rewards will be used to support the future development of software, including maintenance, upgrades, feature requests, bug fixes, and more. Sorry. So finally, it's the allocation plan. So the first round of the allocation will be majorly used for testing. We are actually currently right now testing on calibration net, but we are moving to mainnet in a few weeks. So in the first round, we'll be mainly testing for software development, testing the end-to-end scenario, make sure there's no issue with the software. And for subsequent rounds, will be used to demonstrate the scalability. Basically, it's like a scalability test with multiple providers. We have a few providers that we worked with before, like from different regions, from APAC, from NA, from EU, and we also would kind of be allocated less than 20% on Big Data Exchange to test out their solution. And we're also open to other experienced third providers who want to test the solution. So yeah, that's my presentation. Any question, any comment? Great, and then I will paste the link of the grant in the chat. Thanks for the audience. Thanks for the audience. Thanks for listening.
Hey, you know what? Like man to man, dad to dad, great job. I don't think that I would have been able to give nearly the presentation that you just did with the background distractions that I'm sure you were under. Of all the times I wish somebody turned on their webcam, it was for the last 5 minutes. I just imagine you wrestling kids in the back. That was great. That was really, really great. I hope that definitely will make the highlight reel.
He was around me trying to grab my microphone, but yeah.
Way to fiend him off. All right. Was there anybody else that had time for the morning sessions that would like to bring their issue back for this new group? We'll make one final call.
I think, Corin, do you want to do any of the topics that you had in mind?
I think Corin's not available for the immediate moment, but we'll have some questions in a bit.
Okay, sounds good. Meg, do you want to chat through anything on the enterprise Fil Plus side? If you want to share any updates or let people know how to get involved.
We're deep in sort of analysis at the moment, but Kevin, I'd love a slot at the next governance call just to present where we are. So I'll send you a pack beforehand that you can do in the middle of the night for me, and then I'll run it through in this session in 2 weeks' time. I just have one question about the seal deals going through. Is there any action for us? Are they progressing? Is there any updates? Anything we need to do?
I was looking through the LDNs. Actually, looks like a couple of them were signed, but not all of them were. Which I don't remember now the order in which we decided to do these things, but it sounds like at least they should be able to start making deals with at least some version. And the onus is on them really as clients at this point, if they're blocked on something, to communicate with the set of notaries and let you guys know what their progress is looking like. I think in general, this is going to be a big learning experience for all of us. So my nudge for them, if they're watching this recording, is just maintain like transparency, keep us updated on how things are going, keep us appraised of where you're getting blocked, where things are moving faster versus not. I think we'll learn a lot from it, especially as we get more and more enterprise use cases onto Filecoin through Filecoin Plus.
Yeah.
Deep. Corin had to step out for a bit, but actually he did send a couple of questions over. I figured might be able to ask. So one question was about how much Fil Plus is currently pending, and then the second question was about at the moment, what's the average time to making decisions on Fil Plus approval for deal approval?
Cool. So I think the question is how much data cap is probably not been used yet, like is sitting with clients but has not been used in deals. I'd point you folks to the statistics tracker that we have on this dashboard. So right now, if you look at the amount of data cap that's been allocated to client addresses, it's somewhere in the 97-ish petabyte range, which is very close to hitting the 100 petabyte milestone. And if you look at the amount that's actually in deals, that's about 65-ish petabytes. So we're like hovering right around 70% utilization of data cap sitting in client accounts. If you look at the amount of data cap that's been committed to clients, but has not yet reached client addresses, so that's like how much we're expecting to continue doling out, that number is closer to 340 petabytes. And so depending on what part of the funnel you're specifically asking about, my guess is the question is more around the amount that's sitting with clients but has not been committed to deals, in which case the answer is right around 30 petabytes.
Right around 30.
Okay, and then and if the question is just around like data cap that's been provisioned in the network, then I guess it's probably like, can't do this math fast enough in my head, probably 270 petabytes. But that's like just data cap that has been invented out of thin air based on the traffic and the applications coming in, but has not even made its way to be like liquid or to be usable easily in client addresses. What was the second question?
The second question was about what the average time,
Nice.
currently what the average time for approval has been.
Yeah, another, this one, the metric is super skewed. Kira, if you scroll all the way to the top, you'll actually see it's split at the top where effectively average time right now across the board. I think the box that's most interesting is the one to the right, is closer to 11 days if you go via like direct notaries. And it's roughly the same, if not a little bit quicker, if you go through a large data set notary process. It's about a week We haven't published that number yet because we're doing a bunch of message deduping, and now with this whole like LDN new version coming in, we're gonna have to do a bunch of infra changes in how we track time to data cap for LDNs. So anecdotally, if you're pressing on your application, you need it with urgency. It's usually like a week. If not, it takes longer only because we are trying to slow down the amount of LDNs that are getting provisioned in the current system, knowing that there's probably going to be a new system coming in a few weeks. And so question to you and your team would be if you need to make some estimations for clients that you're working with, or if it's for yourselves, or if it's for like just future projection, I think the answer could be a little bit different. If you go via automated data cap at like a small magnitude of like under 1 terabyte, that's like 30 seconds, but that's usually not usable beyond just like test deals. Make sense?
Makes sense. Thank you.
Cool.
Deep, I got a question on text. I'd like to break it out and answer it. The question came in is, what does the timeline look like for Fil Plus Day? So I just wanted to reiterate, Fil Plus Day portion of it is going to be geared from about 8 a.m. to 12 Pacific time zone. It's not going to be a full calendar day on the session. So just kind of putting that out there on the timelines. It will be from 8 to 12 Pacific, and those official times will be launched during the next couple of days.
Guys, if there's no one else to present the other LDNs, I guess the only question I have is: are they standard File Plus LDNs, or are they asking for any exceptions?
So no exceptions are asking right now. The questions that are outstanding is 3 of them have service models that typically is seen with sensitive data. An example is one of the presenters has classroom curriculum that they would like to back up. And they were inquired by a notary saying like, hey, what is the copyright of this material? Where can it be established and shared? And so I think that if there was anything that we would dig into these business models, it would be just making sure that that data was still open and accessible worldwide. But this isn't encrypted data, if that's one of the questions.
It isn't, did you say?
It's not. It's not encrypted. No.
Got it. Cool.
All right, unmute wildcard. If there's anything at all that you'd like to talk about, ask about, chat about, this is the exact opposite of the morning. We have time. If there's anything on your radar, we have time. All right, I think that makes it official. I think this is gonna be one of those things where we just go enjoy a glass of lemonade a little bit earlier or later in our day and say thanks. If I had to leave you with one item, it'd be this. I will be spamming that notary room a lot more. So you new notaries, so you're gonna see a lot more comms. If you're on this call and you aren't in that Slack room, that means that you've fallen through the cracks. And so please, please, please message me and I will get you back out. I think I've got everybody, but just in case you're not in our notary Slack, please follow up with me and let me know because I'll get you fixed. Other than that, really looking forward to next week. We'll record it, so it's not 100%, but if you want to come live, really looking forward to the small group getting together and going through it. Any questions, post them online, Slack, and all the best.
Awesome. Thanks.